Welcome to the Solemn Yu-Gi-Oh channel where we discuss everything collecting and investing in Yu-Gi-Oh! Today, we bought a LOB first edition collection, all commons except for this guy. We'll zoom in and properly focus later. We are currently actually in my podcast studio. That's a fun one. Wow. Because it's the only place where I actually had enough room to basically lay it all out and show off these beautiful cards. Very excited to pick these up. I'm not sure what the story is with these. You'll notice how, again, there's only one rare. Everything is common. They're all light play to near mint. And so I'm just wondering, what happened? How did this guy keep all of these for so long in like pretty good condition? Usually when you have LOB cards, they're all chewed up, and these were, they aren't perfect. You'll notice they aren't perfect. Maybe some of them will be. I'll go over that some other time. But how did someone keep these in that great of a condition? And it's only the commons. So like maybe a vendor already went through these and he wasn't interested in the rest. That's kind of sad because I appreciate these cards quite a lot. So maybe it's a good thing. So let's go over these cards. There's also some MRD, as you can see. So starting with the MRD right here, we have our Feral Imp. I'm very excited for Feral Imp. If you don't know, that was actually my first Yu-Gi-Oh card ever. Note how they're all European, by the way, so they're not as stonks as American would be, but that's fine. It is just, a trip down memory lane. I got a good price, so I thought it was worth it. Feral Imp was my very first card, so having it in a pretty good condition right here is fun. Next, we have our Winged Dragon Guardian of the Fortress. I actually used to run this in a really shitty self-made dragon deck, but as a kid, you're not thinking, wow, Luster Dragon is better. Even though that was out at the time when I made that dragon deck, this one was cool, and this one was going straight into the deck. We have our Rock Ogre, Moth. I'm very excited for Moth, actually. If you know or don't know, I was a big Weevil fan, even though he was a massive dick. So I enjoy all of the insects from the original era quite a lot. We have a Harpy Lady. I loved this card as well. I used to have a Harpy deck. You actually had this Wind deck coming out after a while as well. It didn't have the original Harpy Lady because she kind of sucked, but I did enjoy having a Harpy deck. Zombies, also love zombies. Water Omodix. How do you even call that? How do you pronounce that? This thingy. Wow. We also have our Petite Moth. I love this card so much. Once again, it's one of those iconic Weevil Underwood insects, and so just very happy to have it. Steel Scorpion, I personally don't care about. So the interesting thing is here, how does he have 4 Ocubeam? It's just a random common. How do you have 4 of it? It's not like you open one box and get 4 Ocubeam and 3 Blast Juggler. Like, how did this work? How? I don't get it. They're all in like pretty solid condition. How do you... Is this someone who opened the box later down the line and then sold the rest to a vendor? I don't know. I really don't understand this collection whatsoever. But I'm glad I have it. We have our Leo Gun. As I said, Blast Juggler 3 times. I don't get it. We have our Deep Sea Shark and then another Rocky Boy. I used to have this card as a kid. If you know or don't know, I started with MRL actually, but as a kid on the playground, you start trading with other people, and after a while, you basically have all the originals. So yeah, I remember a lot of MRD and LOB from my childhood, even though I started with MRL specifically. So then we have Trent, and we have our Thundery Boy, Kaminari Attack, right here. I always thought it was weird that he's like wind, but then thunder. Like, that's supposed to be light. I don't know. Then we have Skull Servant. I'm, again, flabbergasted that there's 4 Skull Servant in here. I love this card, by the way. I'm super happy to pick this up. Once again, I'm not trying to invest in a bunch of European LOB commons. I may send off a few of these for grading because, I still have to go through conditions. They're mostly light play to near mint, but I think I saw a few that might be gradable. So we'll go through that. But the rest of these are binder collection. I do actually now plan to make a, light play or maybe even medium play LOB binder. Might be fun, might be a little extra collecting goal essentially, After a while, you have all your goals and you're like, well, what's next? And then you make more goals. And we have 3 Basic Insect. Once again, super excited for this one. Absolutely love Basic Insect. I'm kind of sad that in this massive collection of so many doubles, there's not a single Insect armor. And that's because it's short printed, I believe. I don't know if it's actually short printed in EU as well. I know it's the case for American, but I don't know about EU. Then we have Silver Fang. Oh man, I remember this one. There was also this article where they go like, oh, a great combo is using Raigeki and then Silver Fang so you can attack your opponent directly. And was like, wow, what a crazy combo, right? Dark Gray, Nemuriko. I remember my brother actually having this card and loving it, so he'll be excited to see that as well. Obviously a dog shit monster, but it's so iconic, like you can't forget that. Then we have our 13th Grave. And my brother also loved this one. He actually loved everything with skulls. You know, edgy little kid having fun. So this card, Skull Servant, he loved so much. He just collected everything with skulls. Flame Manipulator. We also had this card as kids. We actually never had Monster Egg. I'm not sure why. I mean, obviously the card sucks ass, but it's so cute though. Look at that card. And again, how is it that he has all these doubles? I don't get it. Did he open a full LOB box? How did he save all of these? I really don't get it, but hey, I don't care. It's cool to have. Firegrass, we actually had this card as well as kids, so very excited to have that again. Dark King of the Abyss, we actually didn't have, I believe. I don't remember it being in our collection back in the day. Fiend Reflection, and then Petite Dragon. I adore Petite Dragon. This thing is so cute. I also remember playing the Game Boy game Dungeon Dice Monsters, and this was one of those fuckers that you played in that. I'm not sure why anymore. I think it was because it had like flying or something like that. There was some reason why this didn't suck ass and that the computer used it or something, but I really don't remember. I just know this thing in Dungeon Dice Monsters being not necessarily good, but it just showing up often. I don't know. Maybe I was doing a dragon thing? No clue. If you play Dungeon Dice Monsters, let me know why. Next we have our Turtle Tiger. I don't really have an affinity for this card. I don't know. Hinotama Soul 4 times. Again, didn't really care much for this one specifically. I feel like all of the monsters on this row here aren't the most exciting for me personally, but hey, everyone has different like stories and what they remember as kids. Kagemusha of the Blue Flame. 2 Mouth Dark Ruler. Dissolve Rock, again, not really a big deal for me. Never really had anything with Earth personally. Root Water, I kind of enjoyed. I always liked the water attribute quite a bit. Green Phantom King, that's a cool card. It's not in the same league for me as Basic Insect and Skull Servant, but it's still a pretty cool card. The Furious Sea King we actually had back in the day, so that's exciting. Ray and Temperature is actually a funny one. I have vivid memories of this card and hating it. I was like, why would you ever print this? This has so little attack, so little defense, and the art looks stupid. Why does anyone like Ray and Temperature? So yeah, I don't know, I mean, kids are kids, right? You're just like, I hate this card, there's no reason, but it's stupid and I don't want it. So here we go, now I do like it, but that's a little story right there. Then we have King Fog. I always loved this card, not sure why. It's not even better than Ray and Temperature. Like, objectively, Ray and Temperature was a better card stat-wise. They both sucked, but King Fog sucked more. And still I liked it. Oh well. So then we have our 1 rare. Again, super odd how there's 1 rare. I don't get it. If he sold the holos to some vendor, why is this one still here? Also very excited actually that this rare is the one that we have. I remember Pegasus using this against Kaiba was super cool. It's obviously not the most exciting rare, but it's also definitely not the worst. I do like this as a Kaiba and Pegasus simp. Then we finally get into some magic cards. Now, you had this field spell, well, magic card back in the day. Look at magic card. We actually have the magic card word here. That's very exciting. But so I remember these field spells where you're like, wow, 200 extra attack? That is crazy. And you know, given that everything was just, you know, beat down kinda, they weren't the worst, I guess, but they definitely weren't the best either. So we have our Forest, we have our Sogen, we have our Wasteland, Umi. Only 1 Umi, which is sad because that might be my favorite of the bunch. Maybe after Yami or together with Yami. I don't know. Yami and Umi are probably my favorite LOB field magic cards. So pretty happy to have 4 of this. As you can see, the condition isn't amazing. These little corners here, but then, you know, these 2, the second and the fourth are the worst, but then the other ones, there might be an actually good one in there. I still need to check specifically. Then we have our Red Medicine. Again, not the greatest card, but just exciting to see that again, having those memories. Once again, though, look at that corner right here. That hurts a lot, you know, because that's actually the worst part about this entire collection. The funny thing is, this entire collection was actually loose in a bag in a box. There was no sleeves, there was no deck box, there was nothing. They were just loose in a bag in a box. So I wonder if all these chipped little side corners actually got damaged in transit. That would actually be very, very sad. I did not inspect these cards when buying them because, again, it was just someone sent in a bunch of commons and I was like, fine, they look anywhere between light play and near mint, whatever, sent them over. But so the fact that they were all damaged in very similar way makes me think this happened in transit, and wow, that's heartbreak. Because if some of these were maybe PSA 9s or 10s at one point, then transit might have actually ruined that. I don't know. No idea what the story is with these cards. We have our remove trap. Oh, I remember this card. It wasn't even any good, but it's just such iconic artwork. Then we have our Tai Hone. Never cared for this card all that much. However, we have our Uraby. The thing you need to understand about Uraby is that it was strictly worse than Skullbird. But if you were playing like this beat down deck where you just bash your opponent's face in because of here's my monster with more attack than yours, then Uraby was like right after Skullbird. So it's a bit of a weird one. So you could technically go like Uraby and Wasteland and then still bash the Skullbird's face in. But again, we're not talking from a very high-level tournament perspective right here. I do enjoy Uraby. My brother used to play with it as well. Then we have Witty Phantom. The only reason I remember Witty Phantom was because of the anime. It was the person guarding Kaiba or like keeping Kaiba hostage, I guess, in the 3D or whatever world that he created. But as a card, it didn't really do anything for me. So then we have our Hard Armor. This card, again, not the most exciting super wah card, but still, it's LOB. You gotta respect it. We have our Man-Eater. Never really cared much for that. Would be more excited if it was a Man-Eater bug, obviously. R-Mail. Terra the Terrible. I'm pretty excited for Terra the Terrible. Once again, my brother played with this card. We have a Meta Bat twice. Again, my brother played with this card. It's weird how my brother actually seemed to have had more LOB commons in his deck than I did. That's pretty weird. And then we have 2 Kumo Toko and 3 Enchanting Mermaid. Look at that art. Wow. Again, I love the water attribute, so it is pretty exciting. If you play Cardfight Vanguard, this is kind of like a battle siren, which is pretty cool. And then we had 3 Fire Yaru. Once again, my brother had this in his deck, so seriously, he had all the LOB commons in his deck. That's crazy. Then we have a Dark Energy. Pretty exciting card. 2 Vile Germs. Look at these cuties. These aren't vile. 2 Electro Whip. The weird thing is, as a kid, I thought, wow, this is the Harpy Lady's whips. That's crazy, but these don't actually work with Harpy Lady. I don't know why in my head I created that, but I seem to remember Mai at one point using some whip card, and I guess I magically made up that these belonged to Harpy Lady, so there we go. Maxim's made up rules strike once again. Then we have 4 Raise Body Heat. Again, so weird. How are some cards 4-offs in this weird collection? I have no idea what's going on here, but I'm not complaining. It's exciting. It's also one more good odd of getting it in PSA 10, I guess. We're already looking at these corners here. Fucked. Maybe the 4th one is not all that bad. Then we have 2 Follow Wind, 1 Spike Seadra, Tripwire Beast, and then Skull Red Bird, the beat down god right here. Very, very exciting for this one. Again, my brother had this one in his deck. Seriously, how did he get all these LOB cards? We never opened the box. I don't get it. We have our fish here. Again, water attribute, very epic. Level 5 though. I don't know why you would ever tribute for this, but that's the curse of LOB. Just a bunch of garbage cards, at least from a play perspective, except for the broken magic cards. 1 Steel Ogre Grotto, 4 Lesser Dragon, 2 Dark World Thorns. Love this card. Once again, my brother had this in his deck. Man, we need to have a serious conversation about his LOB deck. And we have some Drooling Lizards, 4 of them, that's crazy. We have some Armored Starfish, and some Succubus Knight. I personally really enjoyed this collection, having it. Like I said, I'm gonna go through the conditions, and then you'll probably see my PSA, my next PSA submission, where I show off which ones I'm grading. Not necessarily for a stonks move. Again, European cards aren't as loved currently as American cards. Of course, when it's for personal collection, I don't give a damn about the little extra E, because I am European. I grew up here. So if anything, I like the LOBEs more. But currently, most of the collectors are in America. PSAs in America, BGS in America. And so it is what it is. You know, this collection was literally me just going on a little nostalgia trip right here. And as you can see, like, I don't know how many cards are here, maybe a couple dozen, probably over 100 cards. I know I would have to count. So I'm at least pretty well on the way to having a light play to near mint LOB binder collection, which is pretty exciting. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I will see you soon. Ciao.